Welcome back to Mosaic. Well, our viewers are now in for a treat. We're going to show some of the remarkable photographs you took, and I would be wonderful if you'd narrate the stories about the people in the photographs. Let's get the first one up.
Okay. These hands belong to a man named Zayema, who lives in a town called Nezhin. And the population of Nezhin, actually I don't know the number of the general population, but the Jewish population of Nezhin is 400. And 184 are eating in a JDC soup kitchen there. JDC would like to reach all of them, but there's not enough funds to be able to do so. So they have taken the most needy, and Zayema is one of them that receives a hot meal. Now, I find myself, I always find myself photographing people's hands. I find that hands are often more revealing about a person than their eyes. And in this case, it couldn't be truer. He has truly led a most difficult life. Yeah.
Oh, look at that wonderful face.
Yeah. Out of all the photographs that I've taken, this is the one that haunts me. It's Sonia, and she lived in a flat in Kiev. And I remember when I, walked into her apartment building, I had to literally feel my way along the darkened hallway. There were no lights on, up 7 flights of stairs to get to her flat. And the elevator didn't work. And when I walked in, she lived in a flat that was 10 by 12 with a tiny kitchen, where she is here, very, very small, and a bathroom that would work periodically. And she received a wide variety of services from the JDC. Most importantly, like the home care help, which is often more vital than food itself. And they did provide her with Meals on Wheels and loan of medical equipment. And she was a wonderful person. She was a highly educated physician who believed upon retirement that she would not be wealthy, but at least be able to afford the basic necessities to survive. And she's unable to. This is my Aunt Frida. My Aunt Frida, who I have had an ongoing relationship with for the last 2.5 years, since the day I met her.
Really?
I talk with her on the phone, and she's somebody that I personally support. I love her greatly. She, as a matter of fact, is a recipient of the JDC twice. In 1917, the year she was born, her father died during the war. And she was raised by her mother without any other siblings, and they were very poor. And when she was a child, there was a program of the JDC's called Agro Joint, which is an agricultural program where the JDC acquired a lot of land in Ukraine so the Jews could grow their own food. Because there wasn't food, there wasn't resources to have that. And she was a recipient of that. And I look at it now that at the 2 points in her life when she was the most vulnerable, JDC was there for her.
Yeah.
They have been doing this for 85 years. It is a remarkable organization.
Interesting.
Yeah, and she is so appreciative. She is so appreciative.
Oh, this woman I know.
Yeah, this is Bella.
Yeah.
She was 77 years old when I took this. Her monthly pension was $26. And she decided that she would rather eat than pay for her medication for her diabetes. And in making that decision, she lost her leg. She said something to me that haunts me, and I will never forget this. She said, "My pension is not large enough to let me live, not small enough to let me die."
Wow.
And when I returned on my trip, a little less than a year later, I had inquired about her. I wanted to see her and see how she was doing. And I was told that she did not survive the surgery of the removal of her other leg.
Oh, so she's gone.
She had an incredible lust for life.
Really?
She wanted to live. She loved life.
Amazing. Oh, look at this.
This is Berta and Tayesa. Tayesa is a home care worker who is paid by the JDC to care for the elderly. And I want to give you a sense of what she does. Because what she does, 6,000 JDC volunteers do. Some are paid, the majority are volunteers. And that's part of the JDC's philosophy, is to get the community involved. And Tayesa works 12 to 15-hour days, makes 2 to 3 home care visits per day, and works 3 to 4 days a week, and is paid $2.50 per home care visit. That is her only source of income. And when I tell you that she does this work with her entire heart, it is remarkable. I am convinced that the JDC is a magnet for the most humane people on the planet. I have seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
These people that just gravitate to the JDC to do this work is just remarkable.
Yeah.
Berta, who was in the photograph, did we flip to another one?
That's all right.
Okay. But Berta, who was in the photograph, is the only survivor in her family. When in 1941, 33,771 Jews were rounded up and shot and dropped into a pit at Babi Yar. And when night fell, Berta was able to crawl out from underneath the bodies and survive. But survive to what?
To what, yeah.
Her home had been taken over by the Ukrainians. She had no surviving family. There was nobody there for her. And she had to rebuild her entire life. And so what the JDC provides her with, which is Tayesa, and Tayesa would be there anyway. On Tayesa's days off, she goes and visits Berta.
Really?
She loves her.
Huh.
This is what it's about.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that if what else do we have in this world? Truly. What value, what value is there to money if you can't use it to help change the quality of life for people who have nothing? What is the value of it? What's the point of it?
Yeah.
What do you do with it? Line your tombstone with dollar bills? You know, I mean, it's ludicrous.
It's true. It's true. You go around the country speaking about it, too.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Are you effective? I think so.
I better be. Listen, I made a commitment to some people that I photographed that I was going to do everything in my power to help.
Did you really?
Yeah, and I intend to keep that promise, no matter what it takes. I never wanted to be a speaker. I never had any interest in doing any of this. Actually, you'd never know it, but I'm actually somewhat shy, you know, when it comes to this. But I made a commitment, and I intend to fulfill it. And I want to see that those 400,000 elderly Jews receive assistance. We have an obligation as human beings to see that happen.
Yeah.
Because we are so fortunate in this country. We have options and opportunities.
They have no options.
That they have none. They
No
have
options.
none.
That's
They
true.
have none. And, you know, what's the power of a dollar?
Yeah.
We can remake it. You know, the cost of a food box is $3. The cost of a hot meal is, the cost of a food box is $13. The cost of a hot meal is $3. You know, these are life-sustaining gifts. I can go to a Starbucks and buy a grande cafe latte and a maple scone for more than $3.
Right.
You know, actually a cup of coffee there is $3. And it's not even that good. It's crazy. Well, ooh, I don't know if I should have said that.
I think we'll get into trouble. Let's see the next photograph.
Trouble is good.
This is an interesting photograph.
Yeah. This is Zayema, again, before you saw his hands.
Yeah.
You know, in between his visits to the soup kitchen, he would go and gather fruit from neighboring trees, unknowing that it was contaminated with radiation poisoning from Chernobyl. You know, this is Chernobyl, and radiation is ever present in this area of the world. You know, it was so important for me, you know, that I do want to say this, it was so important for me to show the hope and to show the dignity of these people, and there is tremendous hope. You know, just because they don't have the financial resources to live their lives comfortably does not mean they're not dignified, does not mean that they have lost the lust for life and the desire, you know, for small pleasures in life. They have that. You know, with Zayema, I was unable to show that in that photograph.
You feel that way?
With Zayema,
Yeah.
it was gone. You know, listen, his mother dropped him off at an orphanage when he was an infant. And, you know, from early on in life has been very difficult. And I believe that all in life is chance. And we have been so fortunate and so blessed in this country, you know.
It's a very good point.
You know.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You know something?
Yeah.
Where are you going next with all this?
Where am I going next?
Yeah.
Well, as a matter of fact, I will be in Palm Beach doing 2 speaking engagements. And then as far as photography goes, there is a family that I've adopted in Dnepropetrovsk, Ukraine, that will be making Aliyah, and I intend to be there with them, holding their hand, on the plane with them, until they get to Israel and everything goes smoothly. It's really exciting. I'm very happy.
It's an interesting, you're an interesting, fascinating woman. There are so many places in the world that could probably use your sensitivity. We were talking prior to the program about the fact that I'd love you to go to Cuba. and photograph the Jewish community in Cuba.
There's 1,500 Jews in Cuba. Is that accurate?
Right.
Yes.
Approximately,
yeah. I've been doing a little research on that because I find it to be so fascinating.
But what's interesting is that there is a revitalization of Jewish life in Cuba, which is incredible. And it would be an interesting thing for you to document.
I think so too.
So when are you going back to the former Soviet Union?
Well, I'm waiting to hear when they're going to be, getting ready to get on the plane to go to Israel. And as soon as that happens, I'm going to just pack up and go.
Have you done any photographing in Israel?
Not as much as I would like to. Not as much as I would like to, but I did some work photographing the resettlement of Ethiopian Jews and also Soviet Jews, which I had done pretty early on.
Well, the Jews that came from the former Soviet Union come into to Israel are a remarkable asset to the country because they come tremendously educated with a lot of skills.
Yes.
But they have a limited background in Judaism, which is interesting.
But a tremendous thirst and appetite to learn, which is really wonderful. What's happening in the former Soviet Union also through the good offices of the JDC is the revitalization of Jewish life, aside from with the young people that are living there. Well, listen, I spent Shabbat with about 60 or 70 teenagers, at a synagogue, and they're so proud to be Jews. They walk around, they walk down the street with their kippah on, and they celebrate Shabbat, and they're so proud. When people say, why are they staying there? There's nothing there for them. I disagree and they disagree. I have seen it. The hope is tremendous. It's going to take time. It's going to take the youth to get fed up with the system the way it is and some of the corruption, and they're getting fed up. And it's going to take time. But listen, some of these people, some of these kids aren't going to make Aliyah. Some are never going to go to Israel. And we have an obligation to give them a Jewish life in their own home, and the JDC provides that.
And do you know something? I'm going to give you a flower because I think you are remarkable.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being with us as well. Be with us again next week when we have another look into the Jewish world. Have a very good morning from Mosaic.